All right, let's get right into it. This week in the NBA was absolutely wild. We're talking historic awards, playoff comebacks that had us all on the edge of our seats, and some huge news that could really shake things up. So, ready to break it all down? Let's go.
So, the playoffs are in full swing, and you know this is where legends are made. Right now, there are a few teams and a few players that are really sending a message. But the big question we're asking today is, who's making the biggest statement of all?
Here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll dive into the insane playoff battles heating up. Then, we'll see who's taking home some serious hardware with the end of the season awards. After that, we'll shine a spotlight on the stars for the stories happening off the court, and we'll wrap it all up with a look around the league.
Okay, let's jump straight into the action on the court, because these playoff series are giving us some unbelievable drama. Teams are just trading punches and nobody is backing down.
First up, you've got this incredible showdown between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. After the Wolves stole Game 1, Denver came right back and punched back in a total seesaw battle to tie things up. This one's locked at 1-1, and honestly, it already feels like it's going to be a classic.
And hey, speaking of tying up a series, how about those Atlanta Hawks? They were down 12 points in the fourth quarter in Madison Square Garden of all places, and they just unleashed this incredible barrage on the Knicks to get the win. That's just gutsy. Not every game was a nail-biter, though. The Philadelphia 76ers, well, they sent a huge message to the Boston Celtics, just crushing them in Game 2. So how'd they pull off such a dominant win?
It was all about pure, unstoppable firepower. You had the duo of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe just going off, combining for a ridiculous 59 points. I mean, when your backcourt explodes like that, what's anyone supposed to do?
So, just to give you a quick snapshot of where things are, you've got the Wolves and Nuggets tied at 1 apiece, same story for the Hawks and Knicks, all knotted up, and then out west, the Lakers have jumped out to a commanding 2-0 lead over the Rockets.
All right, so let's shift gears from the team battles for a minute and talk about the incredible individuals who really defined this season. You know what that means? It's awards time.
And kicking things off, the first ever Kia Clutch Player of the Year award goes to the Thunder superstar, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Seriously, when the game was on the line, there was nobody better. And listen, the numbers don't lie. SGA led the entire league with 175 points in clutch situations, and he averaged an insane 6.5 points per game in those moments. I mean, that's the definition of clutch right there. Okay, so from the best on offense in the clutch to the absolute best on defense period, your Kia Defensive Player of the Year is, of course, the Spurs phenom, Victor Wembanyama. And folks, this was not just another award win.
No, this win was flat-out historic. For starters, Wemby is now the youngest DPOY in the history of the league, and, get this, he's also the first ever unanimous winner of the award. Every single voter had him at number 1. That's just unbelievable stuff.
And the Spurs weren't done collecting trophies either. The Kia Sixth Man of the Year award is headed to San Antonio, too, going to Keldon Johnson for the incredible spark he provided off the bench all year long.
And to put his season into perspective, he didn't just have a great year. He had a record-breaking one. Johnson dropped over 1,000 points, 1,081 to be exact, off the bench, which is a new Spurs franchise record. Now that is how you make an impact. Now let's move beyond the awards and the final scores and put a spotlight on the players themselves. Because, you know, the stories and the setbacks they deal with are just as important as anything that happens in the game. And unfortunately, we have to start with some tough news about the guy we were just talking about. After taking a really hard fall in a game, the new Defensive Player of the Year, Victor Wembanyama, has been placed in the NBA's concussion protocol. And his absence was felt almost immediately. With Wemby out of that game, Portland's Scoot Henderson just went off for a playoff career-high 31 points and led the Blazers to a comeback win. It's the Wemby effect in a nutshell, right? With him, the Spurs are a fortress. Without him, things can get tough.
And sometimes the biggest challenges have nothing to do with basketball. This really powerful quote from an article in The Athletic is a heavy reminder of that. It details how Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon found a whole new perspective on life after a terrible family tragedy. Just a real testament to his strength. All right, for our last section, let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. We're talking coaching moves, business news, and what's coming up on the horizon for the whole league.
Some big news just dropped out of Chicago. The coaching carousel is officially spinning. Billy Donovan has resigned as the head coach of the Bulls after 6 seasons.
That's the end of an era for them and the start of a whole new search.
On the business side of things, the NBA's play-in tournament just keeps proving it's a huge hit. Viewership on Prime Video shot up by 18% this year, averaging almost 2.8 million viewers. Yeah, it's pretty clear that fans are loving the extra drama.
And finally, let's look ahead. You're going to want to mark your calendars for a couple of things. The Salt Lake City Summer League is coming up this July, and looking way down the road, FIBA just announced that the 2031 Men's World Cup is going to be hosted by France. The game just keeps growing.
So that kind of brings us to the big takeaway here. You've got these young stars making history and sweeping major awards. You've got playoff series that are on a total knife's edge, and you have a league that's growing like crazy. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we just on the verge of a new era in the NBA, or is it already here? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.